We've spent the whole month showing you what building looks like. This week, the skills, the client, the stories. But there is one story we haven't told you. That is ours. Today, we're going to tell you about that week, what almost ended it, and why what goes through had nothing to do with motivation. This is the week we almost quit. Welcome back to the Ready for More podcast. Strength is for everybody. I'm Idi.
And I'm Mark. I'm personally looking forward to diving into this topic because I'm sure you've heard me complain or talk about the difficulties I have in my program and the several times that I've thought about quitting, but I've never gotten to hear you talk about you quitting. I'm looking forward to hearing it. And for everybody out there, this is the first time I'm hearing about Idi struggling and not getting through something. So I'm as enticed as you are.
All month we've shown you the proof through our clients. Today we're going to close the month with our own because proof of building isn't a highlight. It's a week you almost stopped and didn't. All right, Mark. So I know you've almost quit and you've quit a number of times today, and you've not heard my story where I quit or I almost quit. Did I quit? Did I not quit? Let's see. But yeah, there was one time. You're on the edge of the seat. But it was one time, 25, almost 30 years ago. I think that was 2001. That is when I was in my heyday training 5 days a week, not missing any days. And there was this one time we were doing bench and I started feeling a tweak in my chest. I kept going because that's what we did when we were younger. You keep going, you toughen up. I kept going for about 3 months and the pain never went away. My thinking was the pain would go away eventually. That's what I thought, because you're young and you don't think of anything other than that. My uncle was a doctor and I went to him as like, Unc, I have this pain in my chest. It's not going away. And his question to me was, Idi, like, have you taken a break? Like, did you think about that? I was like, no. And I'm asking him, what do you think it is? He's like, I can't diagnose you, but I am thinking it is a torn pec muscle. So now I had to make the decision. What do I do? Do I quit the gym altogether? Or do I just take a break from pressing? Back then, pressing was life, benching every single day. I made a decision to actually stop pressing for at least 3 months. Now, I still went to the gym and I did my weaker body parts, but I didn't go to the gym at all when we were doing bench because I would be tempted to push myself and not give my chest enough time to recover. I think I fully recovered about 6 months and I came back bigger and stronger. So that is my story when I almost quit and then I quit, but not really. And then I came back better than ever.
So you know what? What I want to know is what was your biggest struggle during that time period? As for somebody who was going as often as you were, and it was, ingrained into your identity. It's what you do at this point. What was your biggest struggle in that time period?
The biggest struggle was thinking I would lose all the gains and letting my friends down. We all worked out together and we all relied on each other instead of motivation. Because if these guys weren't there, there's no way I would be doing 4 or 5 times a week for like 10 years straight. That's what really kept me going. So the toughest thing for me was missing the days I spent in the gym with the guys. I didn't do any pressing and I did lose strength and size. But with muscle memory, I pretty much gained it back within the 3 months. So that was the toughest thing, just not going to the gym and thinking I was going to lose all my gains.
Okay, and what would you say was the biggest shift in your perspective?
My biggest shift in perspective was you had to go all in all the time, hard, or you're just going to lose everything. After coming back, my perspective changed in terms of you can miss some time and come back better. When you have put in so much years in the gym, your body remembers what it used to do before. You'll take a couple steps back, but you'll take even more steps forward. Yes.
Thank you for sharing that, Idi. I was happy to hear that story.
Yeah. So what about you?
I think that the most trying period for me was recently along these last 4 years. So as you know, I've been training for something, a pretty high level challenge. And there's been a few weeks where I don't see the progress that I feel that I should be making. I'm not advancing as fast as I should be. I'm not making the deadline I want to. What's wrong with me? I'm not pushing hard enough. And so then, I start doing the math. Oh, am I wasting my time on this? Could my efforts better be applied elsewhere? Should I just drop it and start training or working on something else? There's a different shift in perspective that happened for me. In the moment I'm not seeing the results I want now. It goes, whatever the end is of this challenge, of this thing that you're training for, you don't want to leave anything on the table. You want to go from A to Z. The biggest mistake you could make on this journey is not seeing it through to the end now that you've started it. Now, it doesn't mean that I'll achieve this challenge, but if you're going to stop training, quote, quote, stop it for legitimate reasons, not this, I didn't get what I wanted when I wanted, so I'm going to have a tantrum and quit. Now, the shift in my perspective that happened on this journey is that I've always been told and see myself as a very willful individual. I have a lot of willpower. I can will my way through problems. And so early on, when I was training for this thing, I would have a bad lift and I would try to brute force the lift. No, I'm going to achieve a 44 press. I'm going to get my pull up, whatever it is. And over time, more maturity developed around training. Train intelligently. Let's not push it if we're not feeling 100% today. Let's meet our body where we're at. Well, maybe it's time to start practicing what I preach. Hey, yes, you've got a lot of willpower. Yes, you've got a lot of drive to push and grind and work harder, outwork your body, but you're not in sync with your body. You're pushing too hard. You're getting injured more. You're not as young as you used to be. You used to not have to pay for this kind of damage you would incur upon yourself. Now the damage is accruing, and yes, you've got tons of will, but maybe it's time to train smarter, to meet your body where you're at, and to just kind of like follow your journey in sync without trying to force it to the result that you want.
And that is one of the disadvantages with your type, because you don't need any external motivation. You are self-motivating, and that is one of the biggest things that was keeping you back. You were going, brute force, and you didn't have anybody to save you from yourself.
Yeah, I think what wound up happening is I started addressing the injuries, the damage. I started scaling back and meeting my body where it was at. So if we're not working on weighted pull-ups to meet our goal, guess what? We're going to do lat pull downs, and we're going to do it with enough weight so that it doesn't bother your elbow or your shoulder. It's going to feel good. Sync up with your body, meet your body where it's at, and find a way forward working together, as opposed to demanding that it does whatever I want it to. And I think if you have a very high achieving, overachieving, whatever you want to call it, mentality, this is an easy pitfall to fall into. More equals more. So you're going to do what I tell you to. But ultimately, I think as much as you ask from your body, you have to be willing to give back to it, right? You've got to do some of the low threshold work, the boring stuff, the mobility work, the active recovery days. You have to be willing to do that stuff if you want high output, and listen to your body when it's telling you, hey, chill out.
I think another reason you weren't recovering as you used to when you're younger, and you had kids, that just exhausted you. You didn't sleep well, which in turn made you under-recovered. So you just weren't seeing the results you used to. So that is another thing I think that hindered your progress, which is a good thing, because it kind of saved you from yourself.
Meet yourself where you're at. I think that's the moral of the story for me is meet yourself where you're at. Stop demanding perfection, right? Your stress levels are much higher than they would be. Time is more sparse to train. It's okay. Do what you can. Meet yourself where you're at. A step forward is a step forward, and be smarter, be more strategic in how you approach things. Don't try to punch a hole through everything.
So if you're in that week right now, the quiet one where stopping sounds reasonable, we're not going to tell you to push harder. We're going to tell you what we did. Don't trust motivation to get you through. Trust the mechanism. And if you don't know what your one thing should be, that is what the strength audit is for at geteverreadyfit.com. Your patterns, your gaps, your real starting point. See you next week, guys.
Stay strong.